Hello, I'm Profiler. Welcome for this new tutorial about chromatic aberration reduction in Darktable 3.6. I will consider three different images which suffer from different kinds of chromatic aberration and show you which modules to use and how in order to correct them. We'll start with this one. This image has quite strong chromatic aberrations, especially in the borders on the trees. The first thing to check is that in the Look tab in Filmic, to have middle-tone saturation set to 0, because you'll see that actually higher values will really accentuate a lot the chromatic aberrations, so better have it to 0. And if you need to increase the colorfulness in the image, better use color balance RGB, especially the global vibrance slider, which better behaves with chromatic aberrations. Okay, that being said, let's try to remove this chromatic aberration. The first thing to do is to try the lens correction module. Here I don't have a profile for my lens. It doesn't matter. I'll use a generic profile. Okay. And whether you have a profile or not, you can use the TCA override here to try to correct the chromatic aberrations using these two sliders. So you can try moving sliders in one direction. Here it doesn't help, but the other way around it does help. If I take a snapshot before, I increase it maybe a little bit less. Here you see that we reduced the chromatic aberrations, and we can try to improve a bit the result also with the other slider, depending on the image. One of them may be more effective, or none of them may be effective. It's sometimes the case, depending on the type of the chromatic aberrations. Well, I'm quite happy with the result like this. And I will check in other parts of the image if I didn't created chromatic aberrations. So actually here we had magenta and green chromatic aberrations, and we get a bit of blue chromatic aberration on the left side after we have this correction, but the size of the chromatic aberration is not increased, so the module does more good than it harms. So it's nice to keep it. And then, to finish my correction, I will use the chromatic aberration module. So I go back there, enable the module, and actually it's already quite good. I can keep everything like this. Okay, so that's the ideal case when lens correction works really well to correct the chromatic aberrations. But I will show you how to handle the case where lens correction doesn't work well. I will disable it and do everything only with a chromatic aberration module, and we'll see that in this image the challenge will be to preserve the colors in the flowers, because we have a lot of flowers with colorful colors. Okay, so I go back there. To use this module, easiest thing is to increase the strength, and then to increase radius until the chromatic aberration is well reduced. Like that, it's quite good. And then to reduce the strength. Why reducing the strength? I'll show you why. Here you can see that our colors are completely washed out, and reducing the strength allows progressively to recover some colors here. So the thing is, we want the strength which gives us the best correction while preserving the colors. So here we can see that there are still some chromatic aberration remaining. I increase the strength a little bit, maybe something like that. It's fine for me. And we can see that we still have some colors here, even though we lost a bit the colors, but they are not completely washed out as they were when I had huge strength. So the strength acts as a safeguard, and it prevents the algorithm to overshoot too much at some places where there are not chromatic aberrations. Okay, that being said, we can move on to the second image where we'll see some other controls of the module. On this image, the lens correction module won't help. So we'll do everything with chromatic aberrations. I'll enable the module, maybe just to better see what I do. I will increase the saturation to better see the chromatic aberrations. Okay, I can go back to my module, which already with the default parameters reduces the chromatic aberrations a bit, but we still have some blue fringes here. I will increase the strength, increase the radius until I get a nice result. But you can see that here, for instance, the sky is still a bit yellow, not completely blue. And here I still get too much blue. In complicated cases, we can try enabling the very large chromatic aberrations. And here we can see that the flows we had are much better handled, but we have a bit too much corrections on the bird. I can reduce a bit the radius. Usually when this is enabled, you can reduce the radius, sorry. Maybe something like that. I check at some other place of the image which has quite strong chromatic aberrations. See before, after, it's already quite nice. Maybe a little bit more correction. And of course, I will reduce the strength. It's always good to reduce the strength until you see too much the chromatic aberrations. I check what happens on the bottom. Maybe a little bit more strength for here. Alright, I don't mind having a bit of remaining chromatic aberrations here. It's not the main part of my image. And we can see, I make a few snapshots just to compare. We have recovered a bit, it's quite subtle here, a bit of color here, decreasing the force. And obviously, compared to the original image, it's much better. But now, I show you what the guide is. The guide is a control which enables to switch between the three color channels in order to guide the correction. And actually, if you have a channel which is sharper than the other, it will be better to choose this one because it will sharpen the whole image. I'll show you in this example. The blue channel actually is blurrier, so you can see that the whole image gets more blurry. But the red channel actually is the sharpest one. We can compare with what we had with the green channel as guide, and we can see that the result is better. So don't hesitate to try different guides, either if you see some artifacts, or either to try to get the sharpest image possible. Okay, so we are mostly done with this image. We could use a parametric mask in order to avoid correcting parts that we don't want to correct. And I will show you an even more extreme image. Also for this image, for this one, don't forget that I use the color balance RGB to actually increase the amount of chromatic aberrations. But if I disable it, I have less disturbing results, and I could have maybe a bit lower strength to my test. So yes, I increased saturation on purpose for the tutorial, but of course do that with care, and you can use a parametric mask also for this. This image is complicated. It has some red balls, it has a lot of chromatic aberrations. It's a kind of aberrations where lens correction won't do anything. So we can see that, yes, it's a complicated image, which was shot on purpose to illustrate the chromatic aberration module. And we'll see how he can handle it, but it's a really hard image for the module. I increase the strength, I increase the radius, enable the very large chromatic aberrations. But you can see that unfortunately our red balls are getting much darker. We can try to change the guide. You can see that we get a quite different effect. Depending on the guide, on this particular image. And then the whole thing will be to try to preserve as much as possible the red. So by decreasing the radius, decreasing the strength. But it's always a trade-off. Here we can see that I have still a bit too much chromatic aberrations. Something I didn't say is that sometimes with chromatic aberrations in Filmic it's good to switch preserve chrominance to max RGB instead of power norm. Sometimes it helps to better melt the chromatic aberrations with the surroundings. So just a quick note. Okay, I've got my modules. I need a bit more correction. Maybe something like that. Of course, I've lost quite a lot of colors everywhere. But we'll try to get a better result. First thing which can be interesting on changing images, especially if you want to use multiple instances, is to use correction mode. We can either only darken the ASCII algorithm to darken the image only, or to brighten it only. If we darken only, typically it works really well on blue fringes. And we can see that brighten only, we will let the blue fringe like this, and we'll correct the others. So actually, if we want, you can use an instance in darken only, and an instance is in brighten only after that, to try to get a better results. Here the nice thing is that for the magenta I can use lower strength and lower radius. I'll take a snapshot just to show you. And you can see that compared to what we have here, we have actually better preserved the color using these two instances. So this can be a solution when you have some quite complicated images. And really a nice thing to do in complicated cases is use a parametric mask, especially with the detail threshold slider, which can help quite a lot. So let's see a mask. Maybe something like that. I blur it a bit. Okay, and here we can see that we actually preserved way better our red balls using a simple parametric mask. Usually I use either a parametric mask defined with a detail threshold, a bit of blur and increasing opacity, or sometimes you can use as well a parametric mask defined for the highlights. Increase this a bit. Not too much, sorry. Define for the highlight of the image. You add a bit of blur, like that, something between 10 and 25, and then you increase the opacity. Not the mask contrast, sorry. And here you get a good correction for all chromatic aberrations which are along edges, which are close to bright areas. So we can see that it's not perfect. It was better with our mask based on detail threshold, but it can be a way to create a parametric mask which works quite well also for chromatic aberrations. Okay, so we covered the topic. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you, and see you soon for another tutorial.